Amanda, we've got the perfect first guest to referee all this. Without him, we'd have so much less transparency and ethics in Washington. He is the president of the great citizen watchdog group, Judicial Watch. Our good friend Tom Fitton joins us right now. Tom, great to have you back on the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, John, and you, Amanda. Good to be with you again.
It's great to have you on. We always learn a lot from you. You've got a lot of legal things stewing in the courts I want to turn to, but I want to get your reaction to this. I mean, the White House looked into our eyes and said, trust us, it's an ethics agreement, nothing to work about here. The art dealer says, that's not true at all.
This is let's take a step back. Hunter is a potential witness against Joe Biden. And this, in my view, is one way of taking care of him, to take the pressure off of him as he was facing legal investigations and pressure from the Justice Department. What better way than to come up with this art deal scheme that allowed people close to Biden to give him inordinate amounts of money for the junk art he was creating. And this reminds me of the Clinton era, when Webb Hubbell, who was a former Justice Department official, started to get work from Clinton world after he was pushed out of the Justice Department and faced Justice Department prosecution due to Hillary Clinton's shenanigans and his own problems with the Rose Law Firm back in Arkansas. So, I mean, there's really nothing new under the sun. My point is, you had Clinton corruption where witnesses were taken care of. Hunter Biden is a witness, and they're taking care of him. And the White House knows what's going on and pretended and provided cover for Hunter's really laundering operation by most public accounts as to how this took place.
Tom, if Amanda, give me one more second, does this potentially go into witness tampering?
Well, if the Justice Department were acting honestly and doing a serious investigation, they'd like to know when there's someone who's subject to an investigation and knows a lot about other investigations or other potential subjects, and money starts flowing into them in an unordinary way, in an extraordinary way, they start figuring out what's going on here. Is there witness tampering? Is there obstruction here? Is there a conspiracy? And this Justice Department, I don't think, is going to do that. They have a prior record of stopping investigations of Joe in their tracks. And so this is going to be up to Congress to pursue this aggressively. Hunter needs obviously to come in. Whether he'll testify or not is an open question. But people like Joe Biden, this White House spokesman, get them in there as quickly as possible. They can't move as quickly enough. Time's a wasting.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if a Republican purchaser of Hunter Biden's art would be as pertinent information to them, considering a Republican wouldn't exactly fit into a Democrat administration. But anyway, I wanted to ask you about these, 426 pages of documents that you gleaned from NARA, Joe Biden using these pseudonym emails. Some interesting information in these. A number of instances, particularly Kosovo, where Secret Service protection was paused. And then also an email in May of 2016 that had both Hunter and Joe alerting them to a scheduled phone call with the president of Ukraine at that time, President Poroshenko. What are some of the most, what are the highlights of what you found in these 400-something pages of information?
Well, that last point first. Joe was communicating with the president of Ukraine at the time, and Hunter was briefed on it, or received detail about the fact he was going to be briefed on it and the detail of the call. Why on earth was Hunter Biden getting that type of information? And again, it further undermines the really risible claim that Joe and Hunter weren't communicating about Ukraine. And then secondly, the more kind of an interesting issue is, why wasn't Hunter given Secret Service protection while they were over in Kosovo? Now, that was a big trip for the Hunters, for the Biden family, because there was an event there where Beau Biden, who had just died, was being given some type of monument in Kosovo. So the whole family was there. So why wasn't Hunter getting Secret Service protection? And, with all due respect to our friends in Kosovo, I don't know if I would travel as the president's son without Secret Service protection, even for a few
Right.
days. What was he doing that he didn't need Secret Service protection or didn't want Secret Service protection? And to take a step back, remember, he stopped getting Secret Service protection, it looks like, about 2 years before the end of the Obama presidency. So that was another curious issue. But on these broader emails, Amanda, I mean, these are 210 emails from and to Joe Biden from his days as vice president, two members of his family, shows that they were closely working with him on political and government matters. And so it kind of blows out of the water that there was this kind of this wall between the Biden family and their business enterprises and Joe Biden's government activities. And it highlights why Congress has been unable to get these emails, and why Judicial Watch, our work is so important, because we had asked for this material in the context. We want communications between Joe Biden's office and from his days as vice president with the whole racketeering operation, alleged racketeering operation. And we pushed hard for the alias emails once that became more detailed and specific. And we've gotten emails, and Congress hasn't gotten them yet. Why not? Well, you'll see why in these emails, because they're a treasure trove of leads as to why these individuals, whether his brother, his son, and other family members, were involved in, the politics, obviously, of what Joe Biden was doing as vice president, but also being involved in government matters and trips and such.
Yeah, a lot of leads that these new documents that you just made public are going to provide all of us to chase down. I want to turn to another big legal action you took recently. Judicial Watch, part of a lawsuit suing the government and the Capitol Police over Ashli Babbitt's her shooting death. It's now been 3 years ago. Hard to believe it's been 3 years. Tell us a little bit about why this lawsuit is so important. What you expect ultimately you can get for justice for her family.
Well, it's for her widower, Aaron Babbitt, and her estate. It's a $30 million wrongful death action against the U.S. government in federal court out in the Southern District of California, San Diego area. And, there was no good reason to shoot Ashli Babbitt. I've watched the video repeatedly, and let's, forget about the lawsuit and the details of the allegations in the lawsuit. I watched the video, and I still to this day can't believe he shot her, that Lieutenant Michael Byrd shot her. There was no good reason, and as the lawsuit lays out, he broke every rule in the book, it looks like, when it came to handling a weapon and utilizing it in a deadly manner against poor Ashli on that day. And the records show, at least according to the lawsuit, that he issued almost immediately after he killed her and shot her, that he issued a radio call saying, shots fired, and he suggested he was being shot at. The only shots fired were by him. It was a shot at Ashli Babbitt. But why was he saying he was being shot at? And people suggested maybe it was a cover-up. And then secondly, his record, I guess it's been public, he left one of his loaded weapon, the one he later used to kill Ashli, in a public bathroom in the Capitol Visitor Center. And he also fired his weapon in a way that I think should have resulted in some serious consequences at a car full of kids or juveniles or whoever. I guess they were trying to steal his car, and the bullets went flying. So I can't believe he fired into a crowd. Ashli shouldn't have been killed. And this lawsuit hopefully will get some accountability, because we didn't get it from the Justice Department under Joe Biden, nor Congress, whose police agency, the U.S. Capitol Police, gave Lieutenant Byrd a free pass and protected him, practically speaking. And no other police officer involved shooting, at least in recent memory, has ever been treated with such kid gloves, right? We've been around, if you're a citizen, you know what happens when there's a shooting, especially one where there's a question about it. Grand juries are impaneled. There's serious issues. Investigations. Instead, they hid his name for months. Judicial Watch found out they let him stay at the Andrews Air Force Base.
Tom, we're going to
Yes,
lose you
one
just
place,
unfortunately because we got to hit a commercial break. I'm so sorry. We're going to get you back on. This is such an important subject. We're going to have some new details on this tomorrow, so be sure to tune in.